Yo, what's up? Today I'll be watching this interview by Piers Morgan interviewing some MPs and some guests on his Good Morning Britain show on some issues regarding the LGBT issues. And on this one in particular, the focus on the T, the trans. And this right here is some first world problems that we don't have in Africa, but let's take a look.
Women's rights and transgender rights is a serious battle. It's a serious debate. And you can see what's happening at the Guardian newspaper, ripping itself apart now between the two camps of feminists and the transgender community who say they're being anti-transgender. This issue of, for example, women's sport. We've got the Olympics coming. You've got a New Zealand weightlifter who lifted as a male in competition, who's now smashing records, having identified as female. This is where it does get.
Yeah, apparently this is something that is happening in the Western world. A person who is an athlete, who is a man, can change their gender, hence the trans. You can be a trans and compete in the opposite gender as sports. Say, for example, you are, the way he's saying, a weightlifter who is a man, obviously, and now they decide to change their gender and compete in women's sport so that their category changes from men's sports. Now they have to compete in women's sport because the argument is that a person who has changed his gender from male to female is actually legitimately a female. you're not even to say he's a male, that is offensive to them. But let's continue listening.
I think quite serious for the potential effect it has on women's rights. Are you happy for anyone born to a male biological body to simply raise their hand without any need for surgery and to compete in the Olympics against women born to female biological bodies?
So I'm a huge fan of athletics, and this has been a really big raging debate because particularly around the issue of Caster Semenya, and so I've been following it really closely.
But hang on, Caster Semenya.
Yeah, but I don't think Caster Semenya is not transsexual. She did not change her gender from male to female. I think it's not, that is not the case.
That's a different case.
Different case.
But actually there are really problematic issues here.
Caster Semenya is not a trans athlete.
No. There's an argument about whether Caster Semenya is a man or a woman, and it's been, there was a documentary about it.
But that is not the same. I don't think ambiguity with the agenda is not the same as changing, because changing is something totally different from that kind of.
We're talking about people self-identifying with male biological bodies, saying, I am female, I'm now competing against women born to female biological bodies. That's the debate.
But the point that I'm making is this, is that there have been all these issues raised in sport over recent years about who qualifies into which contest. That debate is also raging in relation to disability and what level of disability qualifies you to compete in the Paralympics.
Just back to my question. Should any man or anyone born to a male biological body be able to self-identify as a woman without any surgery or any of that transition process and compete in professional sport against women born to female?
I don't think that is a hard question to answer. I don't even know why he's bringing in the surgery and whatever, because even if you do the surgery, if you are competing as a man, I don't think there's any confusion there. You cannot fool anyone. We saw you competing as a man, not even as a man. We have known you to be a man. So I don't know why she's even spending some time trying to come up with an answer. I think this is just outright.
Biological bodies, because that's the nub of the debate.
Yeah, that is the nub of the debate.
What's your answer?
What I'm saying to you is there are broader issues here that sport is going to have to grapple with about who is allowed to.
Well, we had a trans activist on last week, for example, who said she would be happy if Usain Bolt or if Floyd Mayweather spent a year taking testosterone treatment and then competed in the 100 metres women's Olympics or female boxing. Would you be happy for Usain Bolt?
No. Just the thought of that. Just imagine Floyd Mayweather starting to say now, he's a woman. I'm even getting so much confused. And now he say it's fair. The position of this woman right here is an MP. Is an MP in Britain. So her idea is that it would be fair for Floyd Mayweather to say he's a woman. And so we start calling him she, and now he starts competing, beating up women. I don't think that would be fair. Or Usain Bolt competing in the 100 meters women's race, that would be completely unfair.
Or Floyd Mayweather, and I don't think either of them are planning to do this, but if they decided to self-identify as women and spend a year on testosterone treatment, are you happy for them, as this trans activist was last week, to then compete against women born to female biological bodies?
Well, the point I was trying to make before you cut me off was that I think there has to be a commission set up in sport to decide what the parameters are of those sporting rules. I mean, these are rules that are set by sporting bodies.
But it's not fair, is it?
By governing bodies.
It's just not fair.
No, well, you've got to
and
make sure it is fair.
It's damaging to women's rights.
That is my point. You've got to make sure that it is fair. You've got to make sure that it's fair for every generation of athletes.
How can you make that fair? If Usain Bolt started competing in women's sport, how can you make that fair? Maybe if it's 100 meters, maybe you take him back 10 meters so that he races 10 meters or something of the sort. I don't see how else you make that fair. Or if it's a Floyd Mayweather fighting a woman, you have to maybe to tie one of his hands behind his back so that it can be made fair. It's not I don't see how you can make that fair.
Comes through, and it is for sport to have a proper commission to sit down and work out where the boundaries are drawn. You
don't need a commission to work out. It wouldn't be right for Floyd Mayweather to identify as female and then fight women boxers born to female biological bodies. It's not a commission issue. It's a common sense issue, isn't it?
No,
You're about to be potentially leader of the Labour Party. And you say that this is something that doesn't really matter, and I
think it does matter.
I think these things.
I think it does matter.
I think there's a
basic
women's
inherent
rights.
question of how you treat people properly in this country.
Yeah.
And I represent domestic violence victims
who
feel very, very strongly the need for safe spaces in this country. And I represent trans people who also are amongst some of the most discriminated against people in this country.
But you can support transgender rights.
I will not allow this to become a zero-sum battle between two people.
But nor will you give me a straight answer,
of people
Lisa.
who deserve support. Because why would you make policy about the rules governing sport sitting on Good Morning Britain as a Labour leadership contender? That just strikes me as the way that you get into this.
Why wouldn't you on Good Morning Britain just tell our viewers whether you think...
I don't know why she's finding it so hard. Maybe she's worried she might offend some people, maybe some of the people who vote for her. But I think, as Piers Morgan says, that's a very simple question to answer. I don't know why she's beating around the bush.
I think it's fair, as a trans activist said last week on this programme, that Usain Bolt could self-identify as female and compete against women born to female.
You can just tell from her face that she doesn't like that example, because that example is very plain and simple. To anyone listening, that's a very simple analogy.
On Good Morning Britain as a Labour leadership contender, that just strikes me as the way that you get into this.
Why wouldn't you on Good Morning Britain just tell our viewers whether you think it's fair, as a trans activist said last week on this programme, that Usain Bolt could self-identify as female and compete against women born to female biological bodies?
Why can't you just say... Because I'll tell you why.
Good,
I'll tell you why.
Lisa, will just go, it's complete madness.
Why? Because you are doing what too many people have done in this debate.
Asking a straight question?
No, you've created more heat and less light. You're setting up an example that is just simply nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
I don't see how that is creating hate. That is just asking a simple question. Is it fair for that's a very basic, simple question. It's a question of yes or no. And for me, I see that's no, it wouldn't be fair. I don't know why she's trying to explain. Okay, let's see what she'll finally come up with.
Usain Bolt is not planning to self-identify as a woman and run in a woman's race.
But what we are saying...
And that's why I say, take the heat out of this and let's have a sensible
I'm sorry to be pedantic about this,
where the parameters lie.
In Connecticut, for example, in America, there are two trans athletes who were competing as male athletes, born to male biological bodies, tall, powerful, very fast. They are now identifying as trans athletes. Sorry,
and let's have a sensible
I'm sorry to be pedantic about this,
where the parameters lie.
In Connecticut, for example, in America, there are two trans athletes who were competing as male athletes, born to male biological bodies, tall, powerful, very fast. They are now identifying as female, and they're smashing all Connecticut women.
Of course, that would be expected. If they were already good, if they were already champions when they were competing as men, and then they now transition to, of course, they are going to smash their records. That is to be expected. That is completely unfair. I don't know why this woman is struggling to come up with an answer.
Records. I don't think that is fair to women's rights.
Right.
And you might be the first female leader, I'm presuming you're still identifying as female.
Because on that point, come to think of it, maybe say Ronaldo or Messi, maybe deciding, okay, I'm now going to start to compete in women's soccer. It would be a very weird and... that's why exactly I say these are the kind of the first world problems we don't have in Africa, because I think they'll be coming very soon in the near future. This is the kind of, this is a morning show in Britain. This is what we'll be having in our TVs very soon in the near future. In our generation, we are going to experience this kind of confusion, and it's some kind of artificial confusion, because it's for me this is very simple, but let's continue.
Labour Party, and if you are, this is a proper issue about how far do trans rights override women's rights. And I think that your inability to give me a straight answer is your problem, not mine.
I am giving you a straight answer, Piers. I'm saying that
you're not.
No, I'm saying that you're setting up a straw man in this in order to pit one group of people against another.
Well, let me give
and
you.
I won't
let me
have
give.
It. It is not.
Well,
good
let me
enough.
give you
it
an
has
exact.
a real
Let me
world
give you.
Impact,
Okay.
and you
Then what
want to stop
about
it.
the weightlifter in New Zealand, who is wanting to compete in the Olympics as a female weightlifter, who previously competed as a male weightlifter?
What kind of thing are they having over there? Because a person who was already good as a weightlifter, I can't imagine. I might want to see his picture. A person who was a good male weightlifter now competing as a woman. I don't know what kind of what would make that fair, but let's hear her answer.
Born with a male biological body. Is that right?
That's why I said to you we need to set up a commission to consider these issues.
A commission to do what? To decide whether that's fair or not, because that's outrightly unfair. I don't know why there's any debate about that.
We don't have a commission in time for the Olympics. They're in 3 months.
Yeah, but this is why sport needs to get together.
But
and
is it
sort
fair,
this
Lisa?
out. Well, it's
not fair.
It's not fair if there are no rules. It's not fair if there are no rules. That's why we have to have proper rules. But the idea that you want to pit one group of people against another, I just think this is not good enough. It does have.
You know what I think is not good enough, Lisa? What you're not doing is giving a straight answer.
I am giving a straight answer.
You're not.
You're
trying to actually do everything but give a straight answer.
No, I'm sorry.
Because you're worried about the reaction your answer will cause you.
No,
you're worried that the trans community will accuse you of betraying them.
I'm worried about what you are doing to some of the most marginalised people in the country.
What am I doing?
You are trying to create...
What am I doing but trying to defend women's rights from a grotesquely unfair situation where people born to male biological bodies who have an obvious superior strength and power are now being able to simply say, I'm female, and compete against women born to female bodies. What am I doing that's so wrong?
You are attacking some of the most marginalised people in this country by setting up a false war between women and trans women.
I'm not attacking anyone. I've always supported transgender rights. I'm not attacking anybody.
Yes, you are.
I'm defending I'm defending women's rights.
Well, that would be a first, to be honest.
It wouldn't, actually. I defend women's rights a lot on this programme.
I'm sorry, I think this is just outrageous.
You
are setting up two groups of people who deserve better against one another.
By asking a question about whether they should compete in sport.
No, by saying that this is a simple issue that doesn't require some care.
I don't know why she's making it to be complicated. Even the other reporter just asked her, why are you saying the guy is setting up whatever between the two groups? By simply asking a question, why can't you answer? Why are you saying we need a commission? Why, all these things. Why are you making it more complicated than it needs to be?
Full thought in order to protect two groups of people who frankly deserve better than this basic.
Yeah, what they need
debate.
actually is for people in leadership positions to be honest and to make proper decisions.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing.
What they don't want is that anyone who's asked a question then says, stop attacking me.
We need far less heat, far more light, and you've just shown exactly why over the last few minutes.
Wow. Is that what you really think?
Yes, that is exactly
what
I
really think viewers watching this think I've been attacking transgender people?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I bet you not one of them thinks that.
You said it was grotesque.
No, I said it's grotesquely unfair to women if transgender athletes born to male biological bodies with superior strength and power are able to compete against them in female competition.
Yeah, I think that's an outright answer. I don't know why she's... how can you not see that Usain Bolt running in women's sports, that's completely unfair just because he decides. And there's not even I understand in this country simply by using from today I'm a woman. That's they are supposed to respect that. And actually, if people start arguing with you or disagreeing that come on, we know you are a man, you can actually sue them and you can actually win in such a case. So these people are facing some weird kind of problem.
As say weightlifters or boxers.
But that's why you need some proper rules around.
Why can't you just give me a straight answer and agree that's unfair?
Okay, you need rules.
All right.
And this is a morning show. I guess this is kind of a normal thing to them, but that's why I'm saying. What I know is that in Africa, this is coming soon. This is the next debate we are going to be having. For now, people might shrug off and say, no, that's not an issue here. But I know the trends. Even if you check on Facebook, check on social media, you can see people, especially the young guys, the people born maybe after 2000, you can see they are having, this is the kind of debate they are having. So I think... even in Africa, this is something we should brace for. This is something that is coming maybe in the next 10 years. This will be a main debate here in Africa because we'll be having the older folks wondering, what is this kind of nonsense you are coming to say? Because in the near future in Africa, we'll be having a guy you have known, a buddy of yours, whom you have known, he's a man all his life. He'll come to you one day and say, with some clothes and whatever he has done, all the things, and start identifying as a woman. And I think it will be a huge debate because, let's see here, sometimes ago, there was this meme that came out from Uganda.
It's unfair not...
We bring in the...
If you can remember this this interview, this person being interviewed here was born a woman, but now... she started identifying as a man, and I don't know why they say now identify as a man. Just by saying that, and now not only to say that, but they want it to be a fact that now their true man is the same as the one who is born a man. So let's check out this a little bit.
Studio this morning, one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Me. Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, yes, and you're a gay rights activist.
This is why I think for those LGBT, this I can't even pronounce it. Transgender issue is one of the most complicated of all those because it gives an obvious confusion right away. You can see he's even unable to know how to express to him, is he Mr. or Mrs. or what? This is the kind of thing we are going to be having. This is the kind of debating we are going to be having very soon.
And an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you? Now we're looking at the raging debate. You're a gay rights activist. activists. Why should someone be gay? You're having a girlfriend.
Yes.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are
By
you doing
choice.
with this lady?
By choice.
By choice?
Yeah. I've chosen not to engage.
Doesn't that make you gay?
What do you mean, doesn't that make me gay? I am male and attracted to a female.
See, now this is the kind of I know it gets very uncomfortable to talk about it. But if you see this in Uganda some years ago, but I think this is where it begins, and very soon now we'll be in that position of Piers Morgan, where there'll be a lot of confusion. There'll be a lot of people on this side and a lot of people on the other side. So this is the kind of debate that, and I know most people in Africa are very, especially like in Kenya, people are they don't want to talk about the matter, but very soon, this matter, like it or not, this will be the kind of issues we'll be talking about. You see, nowadays we have in the morning shows, we have some politicians talking about some politics and some nonsense and this and this. Very soon, that position, this will be the kind of thing that will be trending, that every TV station will be wanting to call the latest person who has started identifying as the opposite gender. Those kind of people will be the next celebs. They'll be sought after for interviews and comments and all that. They'll be trending all over social media very soon. So I know it's scary, but it's coming. It's coming very soon.
So who is gay?
Anyway, let me know about your thoughts on this subject in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, so that you can see in my next video when it comes out. And maybe you can also give me some suggestion or some video you want me to check out. And anything you find that is interesting, just post it in the comment section below. And see you next time. I'm out.